Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Growing with TJ. Today, I want to talk to you guys about flowers and starting them indoors. Now, when I first started gardening and even starting seeds indoors, flowers were the last thing on my mind. But as I started growing for a few years, I quickly realized that flowers are very beneficial for your garden. And I noticed that I would go to the greenhouse a lot, buy a bunch of flowers, spend a lot of money, but these varieties right here are usually my mainstay. I've added a few this year, but I'm always going to plant them indoors. Now, flowers are beneficial for many reasons. One, they attract pollinators, and we need pollinators to come into our garden to help pollinate everything that we plant. Two, they're very beautiful. Who doesn't love seeing their garden filled with all different colors of flowers? And three, with nasturtiums and marigolds, they can help repel some pests to a certain degree. And we know pests are very hard in our gardens. And if you don't want to spray like I don't want to, then any help we can get from flowers or companion planting, we must do it to try and stay on top of the pests. So let's get into the different varieties of flowers that I have here. I'll briefly go over how I plant them and a little bit about each one, and just try and encourage you guys to start some flowers indoors. Now, there are a ton of different flowers that you could choose from when you want to start them from seed indoors. These are just the varieties that I like to start and that I seem to plant every year. Now, when I'm finding flower varieties, I'm looking for flowers that are going to continuously bloom throughout the year. So I plant them in late spring, early summer, and they're going to bloom for me the whole way up until fall, until that first frost hits. Or if they get a disease, some of these are likely to get a disease closer to fall hitting, but that's what I'm looking for. However, you don't have to plant just flowers that are going to continuously bloom. I think that is a little crutch of mine, that I like to focus on that, and I kind of miss out on some flowers that only bloom for a few weeks. So let's get into some of these varieties right here. One thing I want to mention though before I do that, all the seeds you're going to see that I'm planting today, they're going to enjoy warmer soil temperatures to germinate anywhere between 70 and 85 degrees. So to ensure you have a good germination rate and a quick germination, you're going to want to put these on heat mats unless you're in a warm environment. So I will be putting all these on a heat mat. That way I can assure a quick and fast and efficient germination. Okay, so the first flower we will talk about here is nasturtiums, and they are a great companion plant. Right here I have the orchard flame, and I have the Alaska red shades. You're going to want to plant these anywhere between ½ inch to an inch deep. They like anywhere from 70 to 80 degrees soil temperature to germinate, so a heat mat is a must. These are very compact plants. They can get about 12 inches tall and 10 inches wide, so very compact. The leaves, they are saucer type. They actually are edible, and they can have a little bit of a spicy flavor. So we'll start with the red shade. One thing I will say about nasturtiums is the seed is rather big. It might be tough for you guys to see, but they are a big seed. So you're going to want to start them in something a little larger, like these 6 cells right here. I'm starting all my flowers in 6 cells, but some of them you could start smaller and pot up. But for nasturtiums, I like to definitely start them in these larger 6 cells because the seeds are so big. So you simply will put them in, like I said, ½ inch to an inch deep. I'll just do one seed per hole since they are so big. And that's all it takes. So the Alaska red shades. Next up, the orchard flame. Same concept. You're going to put them ½ inch to an inch deep. Drop them in the hole. Very easy to plant because they're so large. And that's all it takes right there. Dropped a little bit. So then I will just maybe push them down a little bit if I don't like how they are, and then we'll just cover them all up. And that's all it takes for nasturtiums. So if you ever never planted nasturtiums, I highly suggest you do so. It's a beautiful flower. And like I said, compact, so you can put them anywhere beside your zucchini or your cucumbers just to try and help repel some pests. Next up, this is the first year that I am planting this. This is the black-eyed Susan, which is a daisy. One thing you need to know about the black-eyed Susan is it does need light to germinate. So I'm going to surface sow them. You can go about a quarter inch deep if you want, but I will surface sow them. I will press them firmly into the soil, make sure it has good contact. They can take anywhere from 14 days to germinate. They like 70-degree soil temperature and they like it moist. So you do those couple things and you'll have good germination with the black-eyed Susan. They are very, very small seeds. You will not be able to see them, but for this, I will just drop a couple in the center. I'm not going to be too picky. I can thin them out. I get a lot of seeds in each pack. So just drop them on top. Very simple. And then, like I said, I will just firmly push them into the soil to have good contact. And then I might just sprinkle a little bit of the soil on top. Nothing crazy. They do need a little bit of light, but if you do it like this, it'll be just fine. And that's a black-eyed Susan. I've always wanted to plant these. Always wanted to start them indoors. I finally made the leap and got some from the store. And remember to always put your tag in. I think the black-eyed Susan get, let's see, about 3 feet, 30 to 36 inches. So we will try out the black-eyed Susan this year. Okay, I bring it a little closer for this next one. This is one of my favorite flowers of all time, and it is the dahlia. This is the unwind mix. You can see the different colors you can get in this package. I've never gotten an orange one out of all the years. I've got red, pink, yellow, white. So I'm hoping this is the year I get a orange flower. So they're gonna like 70-degree soil temperature and moist. You're gonna plant them about a quarter inch deep. Let me show you what these seeds look like here quick. Pretty interesting looking seeds. Now, when I put them into the soil, I don't really worry about how I put them. I usually just lay them flat. If you think about it in nature, when they fall to the ground, they're just going to fall wherever they fall. They're not going to fall sticking straight up or a certain way. They will germinate how they want to germinate. Doesn't matter how they lay. So we'll just put them in, lay them flat, make sure they get in your hole. And again, I'm just doing 1 seed per hole. I will direct sow some of these as well. I really enjoy them. It's a good border plant. They're very compact. This is actually a dwarf dahlia, so that's awesome. And they completely bloom throughout all summer into fall. So you cannot beat a dahlia, a very beautiful flower. You can also dig up the tubers at the end of the year if you wanted to. I have not done that yet, but maybe this year will be the year I do that. So I cover them up. Simple as that. And let me get my tag, unwind mix, put it in. And I highly suggest you try planting some dahlias this year. The next two I am planting are the Celosa. I used to pronounce it Cilicia. I think that is the correct way, the way I said it first. Now, this is the forest fire. I have planted this for 3 years now. It is a beautiful, beautiful flower. They do get very large. They can get up to almost 3 feet tall. Now with these, you're going to want to, again, surface sow. They like light to germinate. They like anywhere between 70 to 80-degree soil temperature. They should sprout up in 7 to 14 days, and I like to get these out in the ground, around May 15th. So let's pour some of these out. These are very, very tiny seeds. Hopefully you can see that. They almost look like little black BBs or something. So surface sow them. I just grab a couple of them, drop them in the middle. They're kind of shiny seeds. And I'm not worried about how many I get in each one. I can thin them out. Just want to make sure I get them in. They kind of stick to your fingers. And I will worry about the thinning process later. I have trouble germinating the forest fire, so I will not be shy with dropping seeds. So that is a forest fire. And I really like this flower a lot, so I decided I'm going to try the new scarlet red coxcomb. And that looks like a beautiful, beautiful flower. So we're going to give these a shot this year. Very interesting looking. And again, you're going to do the same thing. Service sow these, push them into the soil slightly, make sure they have good soil contact, and you can kind of cover them a little bit, but you don't want to do too much because they do need light to germinate. The next flower I am going to plant, they all the same species, just different varieties, and that is the zinnia. The zinnia is absolutely beautiful. It blooms from spring, late spring, the whole way into fall. They do get large, most of them, but they are just a beautiful, beautiful flower. I won't show you how I plant all of them. I'll just go over the varieties I have, and then I'll show you how I plant just one of those varieties. Right here, the first year I'm growing this is the sombrero, and that gets to about 2 feet tall. Next up, a really beautiful one, the candy stripe mix. So you can see you get all these different colors in the package, about 2 feet tall. This one is from Baker Creek, and it is a stunning flower, the Queen Lime Blush, and they get to about 2 feet tall as well. Just stunning flower right there. And the last zinnia I'm planting this year is the Royal Purple, and these get a little bit larger. They can get up to 3 feet tall. So you're going to need some space to plant your zinnias. However, it is worth it. They're going to bring in the pollinators. They love it. The bees love it. So let's get some of these out here. This is the Queen Lime Blush. See the seed, if you can see that. Very interesting seed as well, as is most flowers. So just 1/4 inch deep. They're going to want anywhere from 70 to 80 degree soil temperature. Again, moist is going to help you out a lot. I'll put them in 1/4 inch deep. One thing I want to mention is they don't need light to germinate, but as soon as they pop up from the soil, you're going to want to get some intense lighting on them right away. If you don't, they do tend to get leggy on you pretty quickly. So just something to remember. They'll pop up in about 4 to 10 days. So I'll just add maybe 1 or 2 extra just because I have them in my hand. And there you go. That's how you plant zinnias. And again, I really encourage you to plant some of these this year. It's a great time to do it, about 4 to 8 weeks before your last frost or my target date, which is May 15th. The last flower I'm going to plant is the marigold. I have a bunch of different varieties here, and I do feel like the marigold is underappreciated. That is a beautiful flower. Some of them stay really small, 6 to 8 inches tall. So you can really put them around your tomatoes, your peppers, all your different vegetable plants that you have. And they do help repel pests. It's got a very strong and noticeable smell. So it is a good companion plant. I'll show you the different varieties I have here. I already did plant the Durango. And interesting enough, the Durango only blooms for about 5 to 7 days. So I was talking about how like flowers that bloom, all throughout the summer, they have a 5 to 7 window of bloom time. Next up, we have the French Dwarf. They get about 6 to 8 inches tall. This is a mix right here. Very beautiful. This one is the Keys Orange Marigold. This is a stunning orange flower. It's an African marigold. I will warn you though that they can get up to 2 feet tall. I did not know that, and I planted them next to something that I did not want to take up that much space, and I learned my lesson the hard way, but it was a beautiful flower. Next up, another one that can get 2 feet tall is the Cracker Jack. So you want to plant that where you got some space. They can get up to 3 feet tall, so it's a very large, and it can take over an area. So make sure you plant that in a good location. Next up, we have the Bonanza Yellow French Dwarf Marigold. They get to be about 8 to 12 inches tall. And lastly, a beautiful orange yellow flower is the Safari Scarlet, and they only get to be about 6 to 8 inches tall with 2 inch blooms. So if you haven't planted marigolds before in your garden, I highly suggest you try them out. You can pop them all over your garden, and if they do repel pests, why not give it a shot? So marigolds are going to like, warm soil, 70, 80 degrees. You can plant them anywhere between 1/16 to 1/4 inch deep. Light can help germinate. They don't require light, But as soon as again they sprout up, you want to hit them with intense light so they do not get leggy, just like the zinnia. So that is the best way to plant your marigolds. They should be popping up anywhere between 7 and 10 days, and you're gonna wait to plant them outside in your garden until the last frost is long gone. They do not take the cold very well. One thing I wanted to mention before I put these on the heat mat is I did use a potting mix, Happy Frog. And if you're going to do that and you're not using a seed starting mix, you're going to want to screen that 1/4 inch screen, get all the big pieces out of it. I did also boil water when I mixed my soil to kill any fungus, gnat, eggs. And it seems to be working so far because I've planted quite a few things with the Happy Frog and I have no fungus gnats flying around. So that is a good thing. Now, before I take them into the heat mat, I will take my sprayer. It's already pre-moistened soil, but I will hit it on the top just to give it a little bit more water. I'm actually out of water. I got to fill it up, but I'll just spray it, get it nice and moist on top, and then they'll go right on the heat mat. That is where I will wrap up this video. I know it's a little bit of a longer one today, but I really enjoy planting flowers and I like to show the different varieties that I am planting. So if you haven't started any flowers this year indoors, you still have time, 6 to 8 weeks before your average last frost date or your projected planting time, which for me is May 1st to May 20th. Anywhere in between there, I would like to get my flowers out. So you have plenty of time, at least in Zone 7A, Pennsylvania, where I am located. But it is important to have flowers in your garden. They're going to bring in the pollinators. They add beauty to your garden. Who does not love to see all the different color flowers popping up throughout the garden? I certainly do enjoy it. And lastly, they can help you repel some pests like the nasturtiums and the marigolds. They can help keep pests away. And if we can do that, we might as well give it a shot because we know pests cause major issues in the garden. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll be back with another one real soon.